It's week 3 of Spectacular Spider Month. Roll the intro. For our penultimate title, we're going to look at something that's a little bit understated, that was massively anticipated on release, and has kind of disappeared into obscurity since. That is Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro on PS1. Let's do it. Enter Electro was released on PS1 a year after the phenomenally well received original, seeing release originally in late 2001 and then again in early 2002, for reasons I'll come to shortly. With Neversoft working on the PS2 incarnations of the Tony Hawk franchise, development of Enter Electro was shifted to frequent Activision co-collaborators Vicarious Visions. Graphically speaking, not much has changed from the original title, with the exact same engine and much of the same character models and assets being reused, although some of them have slightly improved textures, such as Spidey himself, who now sports his web lines on his suit. Weirdly though, which seems quite common for late era PS1 titles, it lacks the crispness of the machine's polygonal graphical style, so models look slightly muddy and blurry, which makes it look actually worse than the original game. So it doesn't look as good as the original Spider-Man. But how does it play? Fundamentally, Enter Electro carries over the great gameplay from the original title wholesale. Spidey's moveset, web attacks and strikes are exactly the same as they were in the first game, with only a few minor exceptions not really worth mentioning. The only big change is the induction of street level stages, being the first time you can swing through the streets, land in the road and take on bad guys. Albeit fully empty streets featuring a couple of bad guys but no cars or pedestrians. I mean, this was the PS1, but just look at these barren empty tunnels with little thought out into them. To be honest, this is very much a sequel by the numbers without an awful lot of thought really put into it, which is a shame. So what can you do here? Well, Spidey can run, jump high, climb walls with ease, fire and swing from webs, you know, all that stuff you'd expect from a Spider-Man game. He has multiple web attacks like the web ball, web shield and the web gloves. He has a basic combo of punch and kick attacks. His web swing is useful to cross gaps, but it's only 2 swings wide, so for bigger gaps you need to use it multiple times by jumping between swings, or unlock the suit power that allows for unlimited swinging. More on that in a bit. Movement however in this game feels incredibly janky compared to the first. It just doesn't feel as smooth, and for some reason there isn't a free camera this time round. The normal camera is okay at best, but turn around quickly and it takes half a second to snack back behind you. It's far from an ideal scenario, especially if you're surrounded by enemies or you're trying to do anything quickly. Generic baddies are basically 3 character models repeated over and over, and they also repeat the same dialogue ad nauseum, so get used to hearing, "You better call for backup," over and over and over and over and over and over.
Say the line, Bart!
You should have called for backup! Yeah!
Bosses are all a bit generic too, but I put that down to the particularly poor selection of boss characters available here. You have Shocker, Sandman, Beetle, Hammerhead, Lizard, recycled wholesale from the first game, and final boss Electro. They at least try to change things up by making the boss encounters somewhat unique and not just button mashing affairs, but they're far too easy and ultimately super boring. There was some controversy when this was originally released however. The final boss stage, where you fight a pure energy Electro, had him using weather vanes to charge up his power. These weather vanes were on top of the twin towers of the World Trade Center, and the fight involved Electro destroying part of the North Tower. This game was originally set for release in September 2001. The game was obviously delayed. The stage became a generic building top and was eventually released on the 19th of October 2001 and in 2002 in the UK. Yeesh. Completing stages and earning collectible tokens will unlock things such as comic covers, character model viewers and special alternate costumes, each with their own unique powers such as invincibility, unlimited webbing, unlimited web swinging and a bunch of other stuff. These costumes, save for 1 or 2, are lifted wholesale from the original game. Although now once you've unlocked a particular suit and power, you can mix and match them, so you can make Ben Reilly or Scarlet Spider invincible, the way it should be. The thing with this game though, it just screams lowest common denominator across the board. A sequel by the numbers that doesn't really have anything to say for itself, and the new and interesting things it tries to do just come across bland and boring. Although at least Spidey has webs on his suit now. Look, it's cheap as hell nowadays. I've seen it at Comic Cons and gaming cons for as little as a £5, so if you want to give it a shot then please be my guest. But if you haven't played the original, don't pick this up instead, as you'll be sorely disappointed. So that is Spider-Man 2. It's not bad enough to be poop, but it's not good enough to be bland. It just sits there, in the middle ground. It's barely its own entity. It's dry spaghetti. It's Michael McIntyre. It's a cow's opinion. No one cares. So this has been the penultimate week of Spider-Month. Oh, I'm so excited for next week, where I finally get to talk about Spider-Man on the PS4. So join me next week for that. Anyways, I'm the Hardcore Gamer. Join me next week for a much better video. But for now, does bland have a sound? That'll do it. Hey guys, and thank you again for watching this particular video. This has been the third week of Spider-Month. I've done 3 videos in 3 weeks and I don't really know how I've done it. But thank you for watching, and thank you everyone who's commented so far. The reception has been fantastic. If you like what I'm doing here, if you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button. Like the videos if you like them. If you want to support me monetarily and buy me drinks, please go to coffee.com/xHARDCOREGAMErx, and I will see you next week for Spider-Man PS4. Let's do it.